Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The America Competes Act, now called FIRST, has been a key public policy program promoting domestic innovation and competitiveness since its passage in 2007. Innovation and competitiveness are more important now than ever, and the recent enactment of across-the-board budget cuts jeopardizes the investments we've made so far and creates the risk that we'll fall behind our global competitors. Sharpening our focus on innovation should mean updating our approach to educating the nation's workforce. We need to find new ways to engage young people in science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM. So the innovative companies like Intel, for example, and Nike, both major employers in my district, have the skilled applicants they need to fill the high-skilled high-paying jobs they offer. But we also need to make sure that students who are pursuing a career in the STEM fields have the ability to think creatively and be truly innovative. Research shows that integrating arts and design broadly defined into STEM education can achieve both of these goals. STEAM, as this approach has come to be known, can engage students who might not immediately be interested in traditional STEM fields by presenting the creative aspect of STEM, and can expose already engaged STEM students to new ways of thinking. And I have toured STEAM schools, and this really works. The amendment that I'm offering represents an important step toward updating the federal approach to STEM education by laying the groundwork for the increased adoption of arts and design into federal STEM education programs. My amendment would add a sense of Congress expressing the potential of this approach to improve the federal approach to STEM education, and would direct the National Science Foundation and the National Research Council to work together to evaluate the potential benefits of integrating arts and design with STEM education. To maintain our position as the most innovative country in the world and educate a cutting-edge next-generation workforce, we need to update our approach to STEM education. This approach was recognized and bolstered just a few weeks ago when Intel, Boeing, and Lockheed Martin all did a presentation to the Bipartisan STEAM Caucus, which I co-chair, about the importance of creativity and innovation to global competitiveness. Mr. Chairman and colleagues, this amendment helps start the process. We need to educate both halves of the brain to have creativity and innovation in our workforce. I urge the adoption of this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you, Ms. Bonamici.
That the language of my amendment states that STEAM should be recognized as providing value to STEM research and education programs across federal agencies without supplanting the focus on traditional STEM disciplines. And my colleague from New York mentioned, especially with minority groups, we have seen in STEAM education programs where they are focused on getting students interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, including creative elements of design, including creative elements, actually engages more students. It's starting to close the gender gap and also connect curriculum. So we're seeing, Mr. Chairman, fewer students dropping out, more engaged in school. That's what we need to enhance STEM, not to take away from it. This is not to detract from STEM, and that's exactly why Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Intel are all supporting this approach, because they want not only people who can put together things, they want people who can invent, not just people who can answer questions, people who know which questions to ask. So again, thank you for yielding, and I yield back the balance of my time, encouraging my colleagues to support this amendment.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say just a few words in support of the amendment today. And I received, as the members of the committee did, a letter from a group of scientific organizations expressing a concern about Section 115. And they say, these scientific organizations say that of course they agree that falsification and fabrication of data and results are serious issues. But as the amendment's sponsor pointed out, the Inspector General for NSF already has the authority to investigate accusations of scientific misconduct. And actually, these scientists are concerned because at a time, and I'll read from this letter and ask that it be introduced for the record, at a time when the nation is asking the scientific and engineering community to innovate, solve problems, and drive economic growth, it is disturbing to think that this measure would put into law the assertion that scientists are untrustworthy. And because this issue can already be addressed by the Inspector General, this is an unnecessary section. I hear from my constituents all the time, we are over-regulating us. We don't need this section. The authority is there already for the Inspector General. Let's trust our scientists and support Mr. Veasey's amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back. Mr. Chairman, thank you, Representative Lofgren, and to Mr. Sensenbrenner for your work on this important issue that's addressed in this amendment. One of the important responsibilities we have as members of this committee is to support the federal scientific research enterprise and to ensure that our constituents enjoy the benefits of that research. I have been concerned about the lengthy embargo period for federally funded research in the FIRST Act. I would be concerned that that would make it more difficult for the federal science agencies to make such research available to the public in a timely manner. By supporting this amendment and broadening public access to research, the committee can accelerate scientific research, which can in turn spark economic growth and job creation. The Office of Science and Technology Policy is already in the process of setting a 12-month embargo period for federal agencies. They should continue the work they've begun on expanding public access. This effort is supported by the university research communities and is worthy of our committee's support. I urge my colleagues to support the adoption of this amendment. Thank you for yielding. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to align myself with the comments of the ranking member and Ms. Edwards. To be completely eliminating a federal agency without even a hearing is pretty unthinkable. I respect Mr. Bridenstine. We've worked together, and I know that none of us want any sort of government waste or duplication of government efforts. In fact, I've just introduced the Government Reporting Efficiency Act to cut down on unnecessary government reports, but we cannot eliminate an agency without even hearing from the agency about what they do. So with all due respect, I must oppose this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Reclaiming the part.